morning. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. Whether you're here in person or coming through us for the great world networks, welcome. We are so glad you're here. I'm Barbara Thorpe, prayer chaplain. This morning's daily word, the word was joy. And as I meditated on the word joy this morning, my joy increased. I felt filled with the power of the bliss, of the happiness, and the joy of my being. So I invite you in this time of meditation to gently close your eyes and place your feet flat on the floor and breathe in to your sacred temple, the temple of the Most High. Dwell on the joy of your being. You may remember the joy of holding a newborn baby, seeing a puppy or a kitty, the joy of giving and receiving a smile. Feel that joy in your heart and take that joy into the silence. The joy of your being in the silence. Joy amplifies as we dwell on it. All things amplify that we dwell on. May we dwell on joy, love, and peace in our lives. See it amplify in our lives and in the world. I invite you to breathe a little deeper. Move your feet a little. We bless all those that volunteer and contribute to the joy in our community, the blessings in our community, the good in our community. And we give thanks for our opportunities to serve. May you have much joy on your journey this week and always. Abundant blessings. And so it is. And so it is.
my whole life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong, and there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. My name is Linda Babin, and I will be your welcome host this morning. Let's begin by stilling ourselves and turning our attention inward to a place of deep peace we all carry inside. A moment of opening, a moment of reflection. If it's comfortable, close the outer eyes and maybe just sink wherever you sit. I hope my words can speak for you too. As we nestle into our very own inner sanctuary, we see more clearly who we are and how we might shine our light into the world around us. Each of us is a unique part, an individual spark of the oneness of all life. We belong to one another. It can be no other way. This morning I come for personal renewal, and I come too to participate in the ongoing renewal and generation of a loving community many of us call our spiritual home, our spiritual family. It is my intention to nurture my community today through kindness and caring, through acceptance and appreciation, and through a generosity of spirit. I know in offering such gifts to others, they do return in kind. This is the circle of life, and this is the golden rule in action. As we generate a field of love and caring this morning, we may once again feel our loving energies fill the room. We may lift the roof just a little bit off its rafters. Everyone benefits. As we carry this spirit of warmth and goodwill with us today, we are indeed making the world a better place. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. Feels like feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. Good morning, Unity in Lynnwood. What beautiful faces this morning. If you will stand as you are able and greet one another and try to learn a new name or two while you're at it. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light in this world. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine so bright.
I think that's our cue. That music stopping thing, it's a cue. Oh, we are so happy to have you with us this morning, both those physically present and those with us from distance. We are celebrating this community this weekend, and you may have felt when you walked in, there's just kind of a lot of leftover, really positive energy in this room. You do feel it. And when I said we might be lifting the rafters, it's because they were kind of lifted up already yesterday evening. We were having a wonderful celebration of Dr. R's 10th year with us as spiritual director, of course. And I wanted to fit in the extension of his contract as well, so you might be pleased to hear that. No lack of enthusiasm here. And of course, it's vibrant people who create vibrant community. So we are celebrating everyone today, all of us, any of us that have anything to do with Unity in Lynnwood being here right now. And if you are with us, that's you. Thank you for being here. This weekend also marks the beginning of the Jewish High Holy Days, Rosh Hashanah. So I wanted to acknowledge that and say Happy New Year to any of you with Jewish roots or connections. We're very pleased to have you with us today. In Unity, we honor the various world's wisdom traditions, and we take inspiration from many sources. Unity is inclusive, and that means you are welcome here, no matter the particulars of you. And we don't separate people into categories, you know, the ones we hear so much about: race, religious background, sexual identity, sexual orientation, gender, economic status, political persuasion. I can't even say them without having to stop and take a breath. And there are more on that list, but we don't have a list like that around here. You are welcome by birthright. You were born to the human family, and we honor the divinity in each one. Unity is described as a practical spirituality, which means that what we learn here is intended to be useful every day. Recently, I did some personal reflection about how this community and philosophy helps me nurture hope as we do live in challenging times. I'm not even going to make the case. I think you can do that. This seems like a very practical application to me, especially when I read that having hope is the best predictor of positive outcome in absolutely every area of life, whether we're talking about health and wellness, longevity, career, personal relationships, job performance, finances, overall general happiness. I found a book, the kind that falls off the shelf because it was sitting there waiting for the right moment, and it's titled Rising Hope by two very credible authors based on social science research. It was helpful, and it led me back to thoughts about how much we have in place right here that can help keep hope alive, that does help keep hope alive. Hope is something we can do. I'm going to share just a few of my observations. We hold hope for each other when it wanes, because hope does. We have high hope days, we have low hope days. And on low hope days, we can reach out to someone in our community. And I want to remind all of us that we have 24/7 our online prayer request line, both phone and email access. Asking someone to hold hope when we're having trouble doing that is a wonderful coping skill. We can model hope for each other, and immediately last week's service came to mind. Last week we had a large number, very significant number of respected elders in our community share with us some thoughts, ideas, words that have kept hope and inspiration alive in them and do to this day. I found that very inspiring. We encourage hope in each other simply by believing in one another's goodness. Many of us are better possibility thinkers than we were when we arrived at Unity in Lynnwood. Possibility thinking is a big part of hope, and I know that's certainly true for me. It's been a big help. And I can't overlook the smorgasbord of inspiration offered, certainly on Sunday, but pretty much every day of the week, if you look at the calendar. So, on this celebration weekend, I am grateful for this practical way unity benefits me and so many, and I'm happy to celebrate hope. And now I want to extend an invitation to all of you. Just come across the hall, please, have a cup of coffee, because we have a wonderful, exciting concert starting this afternoon early around 12:30-ish. Dr. Richard will tell you more about that.
Well, we're still here. We're still here. It's something of a mantra, I might say, that describes the very soul of Unity in Lynnwood. So I invite you, if you are so willing, to speak the words with me. We're still here. We're still here. I consider that handful of people who churned through ministers. It was about 40 years past. There was an assistant minister. There was a Southern Baptist metaphysician. There was a Miss Alaska, in case you think I'm the first beauty queen at Unity in Lynnwood. It's as if the world whispered, the odds are against you. But this community somehow came through the other side to whisper, we're still here. And it was a few years later when UIL had retired 2 ministers in 2 years. That is a lot of change. Coupled with an upcoming balloon payment, the collapse of a lower level tenant, and the hire of some inexperienced newbie. Bankers love to discuss balloon payments with inexperienced newbies who have failed tenants. It's as if, yet again, the world whispered, the odds are against you. But something in the soul of this community came through the other side to respond. We're still here. And thank God, that was the end of all challenges for faith communities. Thank God for that. It was the year of perfect vision, some thought. It's still etched on your vision boards. Now, the COVID era did not inaugurate the evolution of spiritual community. It just accelerated it. Long before the COVID era, a model in which people gather in their fancy clothes for an hour of pious posing on a Sunday morning, it was collapsing. It was collapsing for something deeper, something broader, I might say something more authentic. And we find ourselves today on the far end of that COVID era, with current statistics suggesting that 80% of today's ministers leave their churches within the first 5 years, an exodus totaling some 1,500 people per month. And those who remain struggle with depression and divorce at alarming rates. It's as if the world whispered yet again, the odds are against you. And yet again, you came through the other side to whisper in return, well, we're still here. After all, he's not depressed, and he sure isn't getting divorced anytime soon. So, while you might think we celebrate a single personality, and doesn't that feel good to the ego, I would suggest that we celebrate that soul of unity in Lynnwood, that tenacious, faithful, resilient, triumphant soul behind and beyond all personalities that ever seems to whisper back to the wisdom of the world, we're still here. If you feel courageous this morning, find the eyes of one you have yet to meet and simply mouth the words, we're still here. We're still here. We are still here. If you are a member of our virtual sanctuary this morning, we invite you to identify your geography, drop a first name, allow our social media host to welcome you, allow the many others to welcome you. I would invite you, whether a formal member or an attendee, to join us for the annual business meeting, October 15th, following this service. Enjoy important updates, elect 2 new trustees. As a reminder, financial performance is reviewed every January, not every October. If you would like to pray with someone following the conclusion of our time together, you will have the support of a trained prayer chaplain. My understanding is that they will be in different geographies about the room this morning. If you are a prayer chaplain in service to this noble ensemble of souls, would you identify yourself by standing or waving a hand, please? Oh, a Danny groupie. Understandably so. Welcome to Daniel Nahmod Day at Unity in Lynnwood. Lori and Joni, another Danny groupie, Ursula, Annabelle, Judy, Meredith, Pascaline. If you are a member of our physical sanctuary this morning, would you join me in welcoming the members of our virtual sanctuary by turning to this camera, please, lifting your voices with mine to say, "We see you. We see the truth of you. We see the noble possibility of you. We're still here, baby." Welcome. Oh, my goodness. If you're a member of our virtual sanctuary this morning and you desire to pray with someone following the conclusion of this time together, start the process by writing prayer at unityinlynnwood.org. Expect a telephone call within the next couple hours. Don't forget to include a working telephone number. I call this Unity in Lynnwood's first International New Members Weekend. Now, I term this weekend thusly because your Board of Trustees courageously elected to dismantle a membership that is dependent upon geography. Now, this is messy and it presents challenges and it presents unknowns, but I do believe we are up to that challenge. And it is my honor to welcome 18 new members into Unity in Lynnwood this morning, spanning the globe. And so I invite those in our physical sanctuary this morning, even as those joining via Zoom will appear on the screen before you. Those in our physical sanctuary, I invite you simply to assemble here on the floor facing your family, please, and thank you. You may come forward now. Pascaline and Deb, we hope you feel the love from New Jersey and Nairobi, respectively. Joining new members, whether in the house or in our virtual sanctuary, I'd like to welcome you into something of new life. This moment of commitment, I might suggest, will reveal to you new opportunities, which existed only as invisible potential up to this moment. It will reveal new people, new support, new perspectives, expansive new horizons, teeming with infinite possibilities. I might say entire new worlds, which existed only as invisible potential from your previous position. Are you ready to begin? Say, "I am." I am. If you are so inclined, we will speak together, "I will," in response to the following questions. Joining new members, take a deep breath. This is a big one. Will you love? I will. Will you serve? I will. Will you act in kindness? I will. Will you seek to see that universal Christ presence in others? I will. Will you, to the best of your ability, be a vehicle for divine activity? I will. And you, the fine people, the fine people of Unity in Lynnwood, will you agree to support these joining members in this moment of new beginning and beyond? If so, answer by saying, "We will." We will, at which point I say, welcome into membership at Unity in Lynnwood. 18 new members at Unity in Lynnwood. You, dear friends, may return to your seats. Matthew Wilson, the one who makes so many things happen. Practical spirituality, welcoming community, a mission statement so short in word, but so deep in meaning. Every week I like to offer one of the 6 supporting statements we developed in conversation with each other and with your board of trustees. Today I offer the 6th of those 6 statements, and it reads as follows. We welcome people. We could just stop there now, couldn't we? We welcome people from all spiritual traditions or from no spiritual tradition whatsoever into every activity of our community. Take a deep breath. Take these words of invocation in the manner best suited to you, whether speaking them aloud, whispering them as if praying, or simply allowing them to wash through you, though imaged and named variously. There is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. His audiences now number in the millions, 10,000 song books, 150,000 CDs. He is a globe-trotting emissary of light. I can quite promise you. Will you join me in offering a warm Unity in Lynnwood welcome to Daniel Nahmod, please.
There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. We speak so many languages, different clothing, different colors, different names. different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. And we'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit or Jesus or Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem or Heaven's Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, yeah. One power is what we are. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. What we are is one. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. So I have an internal conflict today. I am a tiny piece of me is torn about being in this building today. And let me tell you why. Because I am raised in a traditional Jewish home, kosher home, 2 sets of dishes, one for dairy food and one for meat food. Went to synagogue every Saturday morning with my family. We walked the 3 blocks because you don't drive on Shabbos. And my older brother is Rabbi Jack in New York City. And my younger brother married a wonderful Orthodox Jewish woman. He's not Orthodox, but she is, in addition to being much nicer than my younger brother. Both. I love my younger brother, but she's nicer. And he'd be the first to tell you. And so this weekend is Rosh Hashanah. Now, if you don't know what Rosh Hashanah is in a Jewish home, it's Easter. It is. It's that big a deal. It's the day a year that even if you don't practice much Judaism at all, you go to synagogue. It is. It's that day, just like Easter is, for many, or Christmas. And yet I am here. And that was a conscious and an unconscious choice. I am basically not practicing the religion I grew up in at all. And I'm guessing I'm not the only one in this room who would say that about the religion in which you were raised. I am absolutely the weirdo and the heretic and the hippie in my family. I am the one, well, yeah. I just am. And I love my family and they love me, but do they understand me? Well, I used to, let's just say, I was the one who at the Pesach, the Passover Seder every year, would listen to this story of God smiting the Egyptians and would kind of raise my hand and say, does anybody else think it's horrible that in this story God kills firstborns and cows and oh, here, everybody in the family, oh, here he goes again. Here goes Danny, the PETA member, and again, I'm guessing I'm not the only weirdo in the room. So this is me with an internal conflict. But there ain't nothing new about this internal conflict. Because even when I was a little boy, one power is how I felt. Wasn't allowed to say it. Wasn't supposed to think it. Certainly wasn't supposed to pray it. I was the guy who, without telling anybody, would read the prayers that we were singing in Hebrew in English so that I could understand them, because it always occurred to me that it would be disrespectful to God. If God is existing and actually listening, then God certainly knows if I'm reading something that I don't mean. So I ought to know, A, what I'm saying, and B, I ought to believe it. Or else you got to figure hypocrisy is pretty easy for like an all-knowing being to figure out, you know what I mean? Like BS cuts right through, So I would read these prayers, and by the way, I love being Jewish. I'm proud of being Jewish. I love the music. I love the services. I love the holidays. I love the food. I love the traditions. But every so often, I'd come across a prayer, and I'm not saying that. And I was the weirdo who, like under my breath, if you say, when there's a lot of prayers for the people of Israel, I would add, and for all people. Really, and this is not to sound noble. This is me. This is Danny. This is the one power guy. This is the guy who writes that song when I'm 20. I wrote it in 2000 or so. So I was 30 when I wrote it, but I was 6 when I felt it, And this internal conflict, and I'll bet I'm not the only one in this room who could say this too. This internal conflict not only disappoints and hurts some people who legitimately and sincerely love me, but also casts a shadow over my own choices. The shadow being, am I dishonoring or disrespecting as I do the work that is so patently, obviously mine to do? But am I doing somebody or something a disservice in the doing, if that makes sense? Is there something else, is there a more dutiful path I should follow? Is there something, there's one synagogue near my house in Orange County where I sing relatively regularly. It's a very liberal synagogue. No other synagogue would have me, than the really liberal ones. Just because this is what I do. I do this. But I make sure to tell my parents that I'm singing in a synagogue. Because Because in my mind, I'm a cantor, but I'm a cantor for, sorry, it sounds so pretentious to say, but in my mind for 25 years, I'm a cantor for humanity, not just for one community, right? But that doesn't exist. A cantor for humanity doesn't exist in any particular religion. No individual religion agrees with one power. It's always a club with a wall around it and a membership card that you need to get in. Always, by definition. I mean, a club doesn't exist. A nation kind of doesn't exist without borders, and a club doesn't exist without rules of admission, And religions are big on rules of admission. And the way I always felt was, the way I sort of best summarize it is, if you're nice, I don't care what religion you are. And if you're not nice, I don't care what religion you are. Ergo propter hoc, whatever the phrase is in Latin, I don't care what religion you are. Nice is good. Not nice, not so good. This is my core value, and it's, again, to my family, I can hear them. They're not watching tonight for sure, but they're definitely rolling their eyes somewhere. Oh, Danny. Yeah, Danny. There you go. So I'm gonna sing you another song, but the question I thought I'd ask you, and I'm not trying to project, maybe the answer is easy for you, but it's a question on my mind today for everything I've just shared with you, is in whose honor are you living your life? Whether you decided to or not, whether you were conscious of it or not. In whose honor do you sing your songs? In whose honor do you speak on a Sunday? In whose honor do you run your business? In whose honor do you raise your family? Do you struggle with whether you are honoring or dishonoring, as I have over the years? I had a major breakthrough watching that important classic movie called Bend It Like Beckham. You ever seen that movie? Some of you may. It's a movie about an Indian girl whose family moves to England, and she takes up soccer. Growing up in a very traditional home, girls don't wear shorts and girls don't play soccer. And her father is very clear that her grandfather would be mortified if he knew that she was out wearing shorts in public and playing soccer, especially with boys. And there's a picture of the grandfather, Babaji, up on the wall. And whenever he catches her playing soccer, he says, "What would Babaji say? You bring dishonor." The trick is, of course, that she's not only in love with playing soccer, she's gifted at soccer. It is what she's called to do. It's actually what she's born to do. And a moment, I swear to God, you wouldn't expect, maybe you wouldn't expect a 20, whatever I was at the time, man to be watching Bend It Like Beckham, and you probably wouldn't expect anyone to break down crying watching Bend It Like Beckham, but I swear to God I did. The first time I saw it, and towards the end, this girl has had it with the guilt and the shame and the judgment for doing what she loves to do so much and is so good at. And it's a brief moment in the movie. It's a blink and you miss it thing, but I didn't miss it. Because while she's fighting and finally having it out with her family about what she wants to do most in her life, with her life, she points at the picture of Babaji and says, "What if Babaji wants me to play soccer? What if he wants me to be great at it? What if he wanted me to live in a country where I can play soccer? What if he wants me to do the thing I'm best at in the world?" Oh, that got to Danny, hardcore, right? Because I've been singing One Power now since 2000, and in the back of my mind, there's a whisper, you should be singing in synagogues. My family is a Holocaust surviving family. My mom's parents survived the Holocaust accidentally and barely by having an instinct that they didn't want to be there when the Nazis arrived in September of 1939. They crossed over the border into Russia, one with one brother each on both sides. So 4 of them crossed over the border into Russia. And that's where their town was, their little shtetl, their little tiny town in Poland where they lived. And the Russians arrested them, essentially, and sent them to a labor camp in Siberia, where they spent the next 2 or 3 years in an experience so horrible that they truly never talked about it again in their entire lives, as far as I know. What they didn't know until years later, while they were still in Siberia, what they didn't know was that the day after they had left in Poland, everyone in their family had been killed. Everyone they left behind. Parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, brothers and sisters, cousins, nephews, nieces, everyone gone, erased the next day. The Nazi army arrived the next day. They didn't know that for years. Found out in Siberia. And so I say my Bubby and Zadie survived the Holocaust, but they only kind of did. They made their way across Europe, and no one knows how. They made their way to the only safe harbor in Europe for Jewish refugees, which was American-occupied West Berlin. My mom was born, her mom went into labor with her on the back of a donkey in Uzbekistan. These were penniless, paperless, stateless people. And my uncle was born in a DP camp in Berlin. And so they emigrated to Chicago, where I was raised, only because they had a distant relative who looked up names of survivors and sponsored them, and my uncle says over 100 other family members to come and emigrate and sleep on their floor in their living room. And sign leases with them and teach them a little English and teach them their way around how to ride a bus, help them start businesses and get apartments. And the grief was something my mother was steeped in her entire life. She wasn't herself a Holocaust survivor, but you wouldn't know it from the feeling, from the weight of that, right? It diluted in the next generation Sonia's 3 boys. It's less. And our boy Jude, definitely less. Oh, but it's still there. So ask me if I feel like I owe my family something. You bet I do. The question is, in whose honor am I living? Am I doing my work in conflict with their legacy, in conflict with my ancestors, or am I actually doing something that specifically, explicitly, passionately, authentically honors their memory, the memory of family I never met, somebody who gave me my singing voice, somebody who gave me my musical ability, somebody who gave me the color of my eyes, which don't quite match anybody else's eyes? In whose honor are you living your life? Whose eyes do you have? Whose talent do you have? Whose club foot do you have? You know, whose color hair do you have? If you're an accountant, who was an accountant back up there in time that you inherited the love of numbers and the precision and the attention span? If you're skillful speaking, who'd you learn it from? Every time you speak, who are you honoring? In whose honor did you raise your children the way you did? The values you raised them in? In whose honor did you inherit and pass along those values?
If this is my last song, if this is my final day,
If tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time? So what took me 20 plus years to realize was that the work I'm doing, the life I'm living, the songs I'm singing are not ignoring or dismissing the legacy I was handed, the ancestors I'll never meet. The opposite is true. I am doing my work in honor of them, to honor them, to remember them, names that are lost to history, faces, voices, to do a tiny bit. I make no grand claims, to do my tiny bit to see that something like that Holocaust will never happen again. It's in their honor that I do it. And before I close, I'll share this real briefly. I invite you to do something with me just for a minute. I'm going a little late. One of my favorite people in the world is Mr. Rogers. Coincidentally, I actually lived down the street from Mr. Rogers in Pittsburgh, in Squirrel Hill neighborhood. We never met him that I know of, but he was a neighbor of ours. We were actually lived in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And Mr. Rogers used to do something in audiences, in large and small audiences, that is really breathtaking when I've watched it, videos of it. And I thought I would do that with you real quick. So it's a quick little exercise if you're up for it. I'm going to adapt it a little bit, but the gist of it is Fred Rogers' idea. So if you're comfortable, close your eyes just for a few seconds, okay? Now, what Mr. Rogers would say, and he said this in giant theaters filled with tuxedoed and ball-gowned awards attendees. He said these at Tony's, at all kinds of fancy events. And he would ask whoever he was speaking to close their eyes and think just for a minute of someone in your life who only and always wished you well. He would sometimes say, think of someone who loved you into being. And then he would say, now imagine how that person would feel to know that they came to your mind. And if I asked you, in whose honor are you living your life? Who comes to mind? And by the way, it could be someone who taught you how not to live your life. That's not invalid. I'm not saying it was pleasant. I'm not saying they ever meant it that way. But it is a legacy in you. How not to parent, how not to marry, how not to carry yourself in life, how not to treat others. I'm not sure, I'm not in your head. In whose honor are you living your life? You may have just thought of two different people. You may have thought of the same person. And then Fred Rogers would close this little experience by just suggesting that you thank that person for their legacy in you, for the love they left in you. Thanks.
That's a hard act to follow. Daniel, thank you very much for being here and making our weekend much richer, bringing much deeper meaning to Rosh Hashanah, and not just your music, which we get a lot more of this afternoon. I'm so excited, but the authenticity of your soul is beautiful. Thank you. Each week at Unity in Lynnwood, we offer opportunities to practice giving and receiving that we might cooperate with the reciprocal and spiritual nature of the universe. While our giving matters to Unity in Lynnwood, our giving matters to us too, as we better align with that universal flow through our giving. Hopefully we can pause long enough right now as we're making gifts to make sure that our gifts are being given with mindful intention. As Eric Butterworth wrote in Spiritual Economics, your life is God's gift to you. What you do with it and its resources are your gift to God. Electronic giving options will appear on your screen. For those choosing to give a physical gift, the ushers will gratefully pass the basket. If you would like information about Unity in Lynnwood's programs of regular giving, planned giving, or legacy giving, please take a Giver's Circle brochure from the Welcome and Information Station at the back, or write Dr. Richard directly. For those already participating, we extend a special thanks. Please join me in our giving affirmation as it appears on the screen. I give freely and fearlessly, fulfilling the law of giving and receiving. As always, your gifts are received with genuine gratitude.
All right. I asked for permission to sing one more song for you during the service, and I overshare for a living. It's a little disturbing. So you are you already will know what I'm saying in this song. So I don't actually have to say much about how significant it was to write, to sort of put in context what I've done for a living for the last 25 years in a way that I really had not succeeded in doing in my own mind before. I was telling somebody yesterday that one of the ongoing irritations of my entire musical life is when I sit next to somebody on a plane and they see that I'm writing music and they ask me what kind of music I make. And I swear to God, I have no answer. 25 years later, you know, you're supposed to have an elevator pitch. I got nothing. I don't have a 2-hour airplane pitch. I've got nothing to say. Every so often, if I have headphones, I'll just stick a pair of headphones on them and say, listen, and I'll play them Last Song or something like that. And like, oh, that's really nice, that's really nice. But otherwise, what do I say? Is it pop music? It's not. It's gospel music? It's not. I don't know what it is. But this song really helped me crystallize not just what I do, why I do it with the intensity with which I do it, and who inspired me and taught me to do it musically. And that became a really fun sort of a digression in the song. And it took on a life of its own. I think you'll enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it. It's a little different, a lot different than anything I've ever written before. And before I do this song, I want to thank you two gentlemen for being wonderful hosts, along with a lot of kind-hearted volunteers. Just so you know, somebody walks in the door as a visitor, they are welcomed. And I was welcomed by a lot of people, taken care of by a lot of people. And that's a top-down, as you know, that's a top-down phenomenon. So I know how many things you're doing right by how kindly I was treated by how many people. It shows up that way. So thank you for that. And thank you up there for a nice job on sound. Nathan, nice job last night as well. And I'll be out. I have a table filled with, it's a Nahmod family craft fair at this point. I'm a woodworker and a music maker, and my wife is a silversmith, and that's all I'll say about it now. But that's why it looks like that, and I'm very proud of what's on that table. And feel free, even if you're not shopping, just feel free to stop by and say hi if you're not going to stick around. Concert starts soon, like in a half hour, so it'll be an hour-and-a-half concert, no intermission, just much more songs, okay? So you're invited to stick around. And I don't think you charged a set price, did you? Okay, good. So that means, and this is sincere, I didn't ask permission to say this, but this is what it means. It means you and I know, for some people, $100 is a fortune. For some people, it's nothing, relatively nothing. For some people, $1,000 is unimaginable. For some people, it's, you know, a fancy dinner, honest to God. I've never had a $1,000 dinner, but, you know, I hear they happen, you know. But for other people, $5 is a lot. It's a lot today. It's a lot on fixed income. It's a lot, right? So I don't use the word affordable, and I want you to come no matter what is a lot of money to you. Give nothing if you have no extra money. Consider it a gift from this community and from me. If $1,000 is easy, it sounds like a joke, but it's not really a joke. It supports my family. It supports this beautiful community. If $10, it doesn't matter. 0 to $1 million. Okay? Seriously, just all I'm saying is don't let money be a reason not to come. Okay? There's no guilt, no shame, no judgment. No one's keeping score. Just come if you want to hear some more songs. Okay. And now, a very different kind of song to close my participation in this beautiful service. And happy 10 years to both of you guys. Wishing you many more happy, appreciated, deep anniversaries like this one. Yeah. All right, here we go.
I could sing about mistakes I've made, broken hearts and broken wings. I could sing about my aches and pains and the one that got away. But it seems to me the world has its hurts to spare. Shadows are everywhere. I decided I've cried enough. There's plenty of songs about tough luck. I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love and lift somebody up instead of talking about tough luck. I can't deny I still dream about the glory, the Grammy, the gold. I cannot lie, I still wish sometimes my eyes and my heart would close. But it seems to me my family escaped the war and they never sang anymore. They lost everything they had. And if a song is all I can give back, I'm gonna sing about love. Gonna sing about love. Lift somebody up. Lift somebody up. Gonna sing about love instead of talking about tough love. Whoa, no more tough love. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Gonna take my cue from a few folks I look up to. In the key of life, Bobby McFerrin says be happy, it'll be alright. Marvin Gaye showed the way to what's going on. It's a wonderful world thanks to Louis Armstrong. Soul Asylum saved those runaway kids. John Lennon just imagined and the whole world did. John Denver took a skyward, Tina Turner to the sea. Stevie Wonder to a higher love, John Legend and Common to freedom. Pete Seeger's gonna overcome, Bob Marley just smiled at the rising sun. Eminem will lose himself before the moment's gone. Miss Jackson knows the knowledge is what we want. Gloria Gaynor maintained that we're gonna survive. Tim McGraw wants us to live like we are dying. Aretha got RESPECT. Bette Midler from a distance, the whole world we see. Tom Petty free falls, Leanne hopes we dance. Josh Groban raises us up. If we're hurting, REM understands. Irving B blessed the USA. Van Morrison ushered in a brand new day. Whitney sang about the greatest love of all. Johnny Nash can see clearly now the rain won't fall. Pink knows we're beautiful, Christina does too. Rihanna sees us shining like a diamond. We keep walking like the Foo Fighters fight the power bubble, can it be said? Miley is a climber, Andy Grammer keeps his head up. Bill Withers, we can lean on him. Natasha's unwritten, Taylor Swift shakes it off again. Lady Gaga was born this way. Jason Mraz, truly glad to be our friend today. The Black Eyed Peas wonder where is the love. As Ray got a B, Journey never stopped believing in us. Simon over troubled water made a bridge. Elton John lit a candle for Diana, he did. It's the same love, Macklemore was moved to pray. Yes, he made a rainbow with an ukulele. James Brown, loud and proud, Bruce Springsteen lit it out the way it is. Queen made us into champions. U2 and Dr. King in the power of one. Sam Cooke made you look, change is gonna come. Peter Gabriel ain't giving up on us just yet. We are the world, save lives, no star they couldn't get. Irene Cara, what a feeling alive. Pharrell made us happy. Katy Perry lit a firework in the sky. Carole King, we got a friend. Switch That's what dared us all to move again. Paul McCartney's words of wisdom were to let it be. And the weight of the world was taken off by Aloe Black and Avicii. So what do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing about love. Sing about love. And lift somebody up. Instead of talking about tough love, I'm gonna sing about love.
Thank you.
Well, I kind of want to say, Daniel, quick, go take a nap. But I also want to say, I need to hear that again. I didn't get all the words. I want to see them in writing. That was amazing. Woo. It's so fun. Okay, where are we? Where am I? Oh. If we have anyone who's here with us today for the very first time, wow, that was a show. And wave an arm or something so we can say hi. And so we do this every week, you know. Oh, we're always very, very pleased when we have people who come and try us out and come back some more. I want to orient you a little bit, being a new or newish to our place. You'll find in the back of the chair in front of you these cards, stay in touch card if you'd like us to be in contact with you, only a couple of emails a month. There's a prayer request card, there's a newcomer information card, and there is a lot of information. Back at our welcome and information station, Unity brochures, a lot of information about Unity in Lynnwood, but in Unity in general. And all of you might now and then take a look at those brochures. There's a lot of information and good resource there. I also invite you, if you are new, to stop by our Soul Things Gifts and Bookstore right inside the front door, where you can get a complimentary copy of Daily Word, which is just a short, quick little daily uplift, which is a great way to start your days. So I have more than a few. I have a list of invitations, but I'll move right along because we are so excited about what's coming next. Please register for all events by visiting the calendar page at www.unityinlynnwood.org, our website. And if you have a compliment or a comment, please write welisten@unityinlynnwood.org. We're here for you. I do hope you'll be able to come back and join the amazing Daniel Nahmod this afternoon in about a half an hour, as he said, after he takes a nap, I hope, for a fantastic concert offered on a love offering basis. He expressed that beautifully. If you'd like to be considered for a 3-year term of service on Unity in Lynnwood's Board of Trustees, please take a job description back at the information station and an application. Please consider the offerings of Unity in Lynnwood small group ministry as they appear on your screen there. I'll highlight the women's group second visioning session, which is happening next Sunday around 12:30 after service. Lunch is included and everyone is welcome. All women are welcome. That's a little discriminatory, but hey, it happens on rare occasion. Join Barbara Thorpe and Nancy Merrill via Zoom to discuss the booklet, Spiritual Keys to Aging Well, on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., offered on a love offering basis. Reverend Eric Butterworth said, "I am as old as God and as young as the morning." There's a booklet here on Aging Well, a Unity booklet, so grab one in the bookshop, please. And join author Phil Patzer for Tao and Time on Thursdays at 7:30. It's an hour meeting, 7:30 to 8:30. This series features his book, Tao Te Ching, A Fresh Look at Ancient Wisdom, available in the UIL gift shop, and this is a hybrid event, both in person and Zoom. A prosperity class will be beginning on October 3rd, running through November 7th. It's been a very popular, impactful series in the past, I can say. The natural order of things knows how to support its creation. So the question becomes, are you cooperating with the natural order of things or frustrating the natural order of things? The class will be facilitated by Dr. Richard and Michelle Van Eyck. And finally, please welcome Trustee Tori Horseman to the platform.
Well, I would like to wish a Lashana Tova to Daniel Nahmod and thank him for sharing the sweetness of the new year with us. I can't let that go by. So I am here today to remind you all that our great Lucky 13 Fall Fundraising Gala is scheduled for Friday, October 13th. Think of that, Lucky 13, October 13th. Starting at 5 o'clock, guests will enjoy a social hour, a delightful Italian dinner, and yes, vegans, vegetarians, gluten-free, and omnivores will all be accommodated. And all will be followed by an evening of blackjack, roulette, craps, and cards with a photo booth and dancing to the music of a professional DJ. All prizes will be awarded on a high roller basis. Ticket packages start at $50 and reach up to $500, with all proceeds to benefit the building fund here at UIL. Be sure to register online for this exciting event. Thank you.
Daniel will return in 30 minutes or so to offer the concert. I hope you will consider joining us. We've provided some food items in the Friendship Hall across the way. Take the moment as you make that trip to congratulate yet again our new members. Take a deep breath with me if you would. Close the outer eyes and let us allow gratitude to be something of our closing spiritual practice. Call to mind an image that invokes within you a sense of gratitude. Maybe it's Daniel Nahmod. For me, I have to tell you it's you. I hold in mind an image of you. And allow that image to invoke within you something of a feeling nature, allowing it to become something of a whole body experience. Just for a moment, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. Beings of gratitude. And as we consider reopening those human eyes following this spiritual practice, let us make the commitment not to abandon the softening, the opening, the gentling that comes with a consciousness rooted in gratitude, but to carry it forth, allowing it to become the lens through which we engage each other and our worlds, a consciousness rooted in gratitude. And as we consider that, we close as we always do with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon